Hello, I'm Dr. Anthony Basil, and this video resource is for doing your research and dissertation projects. You can contact me by email at abasil, A-B-A-S-I-E-L, @gmail.com. See my website at https://abasil, A-B-A-S-I-E-L.uk, and get a PDF version of this video from tinyurl.com/general research resources, all one word. I'd like to thank the authors from LinkedIn who have made a number of these different images and text documents that we'll be going through. Please go to LinkedIn to visit their other postings. So the first part will be essential tools. You can see here we've got a list of websites and resources for literature review, grammar and editing, visualization and diagrams, and reference management. You may want to pause the video on any of these slides so that you are able to either do a screenshot or make a note of the resource. These are some other top research tools. You can see here we've got several resources for paper writing and paper reading. Again, literature review is a common resource, data analysis, and then doing the presentation of your research. Now, one of the first sections of any thesis or dissertation will be to write the introduction. So here you can see a number of steps where we talk about setting the stage in part 1. In part 2, what is the question that we're trying to address? Part 3 would be addressing the question why. In the fourth paragraph, what we'll do is we will try to make the reader understand what the gap is in the research, and then the theoretical, practical contributions and aims and objectives are very important. I always recommend for my students to do the SMART objectives in the introduction, and be sure that any statements that you make, any claims that you make, you have reference to that statement. And then the last part here is some don'ts for the introduction. We're looking at theoretical frameworks next. And here you can see we've got several steps where you can go from identifying your theoretical framework all the way down through to validating your framework. So this resource, you can see again, we've got one of the LinkedIn authors. Now, you can do quantitative research or qualitative research. In this case, we've got one of two structures that you can pause the video to look at and review. I do recommend that at the end of each section of your report that you add a small summary paragraph. This makes it much easier when you are trying to thread together the story that you're telling and link that to your conclusion. So you have the SMART objectives. Each of the chapters it will be able to provide evidence to answer those research questions and validate it in the conclusion. This is another example of writing the qualitative research. There's some overlap in this to the first slide, but I thought that this might be a good comparison. Now, there are so many resources online now. It's changing so rapidly. You may want to, again, pause the screen to be able to see this. We also have the PDF version from the very beginning of the video that you can download to be able to tap into some of these resources as well. Now, if you're doing your undergraduate dissertation or even your master's degree dissertation, there are a number of guides that we'll be providing for you. However, this it might also apply as a help for you to be able to get these little phrases worked into your writing. So you can take a look here for the introduction. Again, we saw that a little bit earlier. The literature review, methodology, and findings. So again, this is a resource you may want to pause and then put some of those phrases into your notes. Along the same lines, what we've got is this blueprint or bullet points of help features that while you're going through your general sections in your report, in your thesis, to have some bullet points to help you with that, and then some do's and don'ts as well. Now, literature review we mentioned earlier is one of the important chapters that you're going to be setting your theoretical foundation and identifying the gap in the research. And so you may want to look through this in order to be able to, again, have that cheat sheet that's going to help you with the literature review. Now, students are always a bit confused about the difference between methodologies or the research approach and methods, the tools that you're using to collect your data. So I think this is a very important slide because we have 6 common qualitative study designs. So if you are putting your methodology together, you don't want to just say, well, I'm doing qualitative research or quantitative research. That talks about the data. We don't want to just say, I'm using a survey as my research methodology, because the survey is the tool, so that's the method. So take a look at these. One of my favorite approaches or research methodologies is the case study. So you may want to have a look at that. If you are involved in doing a PhD, and this can also be applied to your undergrad and your master's projects as well, take a look at these categories. This checklist it might be useful to you because the PhD reviewer, the examiner, may be looking at that, and if you have this checklist available, you'll make sure you don't have any gaps. Now we're going to get into the section of the video and the slides for artificial intelligence tools. Again, we've got several slides in this area. It's growing weekly in terms of AI tools. You can see here a series of software that you can use. Generally speaking, there's some free version of it, and you can apply this to your research study, but make sure you're referencing any of these things that you're using. And again, another list where we've got this broken down slightly differently by the name of the AI tool, the features, and then the pros and cons, which is nice to see. Another AI element here that might be of interest is Bloom's taxonomy. So we can see that when we are developing our dissertation or our thesis, we're working through the various levels, remembering something, understanding something. These are the fundamentals. These are the basics. But then we're also looking for you to apply and analyze. So if you're, for example, doing your literature review, you're not just reporting what someone else has said. You are analyzing it. You are evaluating it. You are placing value on that statement. And then, of course, for the higher research, we want to see creativity. We want to see you create new ways of thinking and doing things. We want to see that innovation and that synthesis of knowledge. One more time, here's another set of AI tools. This one's focusing on the literature review. And just to finish off with a little bit of fun, we've got an image here of the school system described in an image where we've got all these various types of learners and creatures, and the professor is saying, okay, everyone must take the same test, climb up the tree. Now, that may be true for um, the old-fashioned written exam, but the nice thing about doing your dissertation or your thesis is that you are creating this unique individual research and report for your own benefit. That's it for me. Please do contact me if you have any other questions, and I hope you found this useful. Bye now.